Okay, hello everybody. I am Miss Corley.
I'm Miss Klinkart.
And I'm Miss Lake.
And this is Heat Energy for Miss Parker's class. So before we get started, the first thing that we're going to talk about is attention getters. So everybody's going to be loud and hectic and everybody's going to be talking. So when we want to come back together and bring attention to the board, I'm going to say class, class. And you guys are going to say yes, yes. So let's practice that. Class, class.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so the other day I woke up and I went out in the kitchen and I was about to eat my bowl of cereal and my dad was drinking his coffee and reading the paper. And I realized that he flinched really bad and burnt his mouth on his coffee and ran to the bathroom to rinse his mouth out. And so I felt really bad for him, so I dropped a few ice cubes in his coffee. He came back and he, continued to drink his coffee. And I was like, by the way, Dad, if your coffee tastes different, I put some ice cubes in it, so hopefully, it's a little cooler for you now. And he looked in it and he was like, Morgan, there's no ice in my coffee. And I was like, well, Dad, I put the ice in your coffee. And I ran over there to look and all the ice cubes were gone.
So, after listening to that, I want us all to put our thinking caps on and think about what caused all of the ice cubes to disappear. Where did they go from Miss Corley's dad's coffee cup? So, if you guys could talk about that in your group for a second about what you think happened to the ice cubes in the coffee.
There. Like, I gotta get this fixed. This is so annoying. Well,
I think that's
it should be the other way, but I can't. It's too high. The shot's too high.
And lower the tripod.
It is. That's the problem.
Oh wow.
I put the ice in. It was just so hot. So you push the ice back out.
Guess that's fine.
I think that's what happened. Yeah, it's on fire.
What do you guys think about the ice melting? How did that happen?
I don't actually think it melted. I think it melted.
This is like.
Well, no, that's what I thought too.
I can lower the legs.
Oh.
It melted.
Okay, go try it.
All right.
Yeah, don't worry. I thought the same thing too.
Since the coffee was really hot and then the ice cubes were really super cold, they put the ice cubes in there and then the hot energy and the cold energy were fighting it out, so it just jumped out of the coffee cup. I think that's what happened.
So you need to get cancel each other out, and that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that.
You got a good idea there?
Let's not talk about that.
We'll probably forget that.
Okay.
All right, class.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. All right, so could I have someone raise their hand and share with me why they think, or what they think happened to the ice cubes in the coffee? Anyone have an idea?
I think that the coffee was so hot that it made the ice cubes melt.
What do you think caused the ice cubes to melt?
Well, it's kind of like on a warm day whenever you take a drink outside and then it gets hot and then the ice cubes don't stay cold anymore.
It's a really good idea. I like that a lot. Erin?
I have a question. So my mom drinks iced coffee, and there's ice cubes in her coffee, and they don't melt.
That is such a good point. I'm really glad that you brought that up because we're going to discuss that in our lesson. That's what we're going to be investigating.
Okay.
Does anyone else have an idea? Anyone else have an idea of what happened to the ice cubes?
I think it's because the coffee was hot to start with, so it was going to stay hot.
So,
Even if you put ice cubes in.
do you think the coffee will ever cool down, or do you think it's going to stay hot?
I think it's going to stay hot.
Okay.
So where did the ice cubes go in the hot coffee? Did they jump out? Did they sink? Where do you think they went?
Because they weren't there anymore, so they didn't.
If the coffee stays hot, where did the ice cubes go?
I think they just went into the air.
Into the air? Okay, interesting thoughts, interesting thoughts.
Okay, so based on all of these ideas we have, we're actually going to get to experiment what happens when you put ice into something warm, such as coffee. Okay.
All right, so what Sarah, Miss Klinkart, is going to be writing on the board is our investigation question. And I know that's a big word, and a lot of us have no idea what that word means. So what else, another word that we could call our investigation question is our experiment. And we are going to experiment because we are all scientists. I want everyone to put their hand on their head and say, I'm a scientist. Thank you, scientists. So, we are going to, with our scientist thinking brain, investigate what happens when you place ice into something warm, like water or hot road or hot air, other hot things. Yes, that's what we are going to do. So then we are going to pay attention to Bolig, and she is going to discuss our predictions.
Okay, class.
I forgot to remember.
Okay, does anyone know what prediction means?
Good.
Okay, good. That's good, but to add more, it's not just a random guess, right? You're gonna, based off of what you know, what are you gonna predict?
An educated guess.
Right,
That's a
okay,
good
so
idea.
based off of prior knowledge. Okay, so, at the top of the box on your worksheets, everyone has one? Okay, where it says, what happens to a bag of ice when you place it in warm water? Based off of what we talked about with the ice and the hot coffee, does everybody have a worksheet? Okay.
Good. By the way, that was great. That Morgan walked around to look to see if we were actually looking at a worksheet, because kids may not. They may be having, may be confused. Good.
Okay. Okay, so where it says, I think, and then you're going to write your claim. So I think the ice melted, the ice dissolved, the ice whatever. And then because I saw, what did you see? What did you see happen to the ice? And just go ahead and fill that out.
Who has a good example of a prediction, maybe a good idea that they could share with me of their prediction? Right here?
I said I think the ice sunk to the bottom because I've seen objects sink in liquid before.
That's an interesting thought. Okay, can anyone expand on that? Does anybody think that the ice sunk to the bottom?
Anyone have another? Oh, go.
I would think that it sunk to the bottom because ice cubes aren't very heavy. And I think that in order for something to sink to the bottom, I think that it has to be really heavy, like a nail or something like that. So I don't think that it sunk to the bottom. I think that it dissolved in the water.
Okay. That's a really good thought. I like that word, dissolve.
Yeah. I think the ice and the hot water, they were fighting it out, and the hot water won.
What do you mean by fighting it out?
Like, they got in a fist fight.
That's extremely creative.
No, this is actually an idea that kids at Fremont have, and that I heard last year. Yeah, they're fighting it. And the heat won because the heat's stronger.
So you mean the heat won so the ice had to go away? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, the heat killed the ice.
Okay. Where did the ice go, though?
Yeah, where did the ice
disappear? It's not sitting next to it on the table. It didn't jump out.
Just because it died, it didn't go away. So where did it go?
Dead ice cubes.
Let's think about that. Let's all keep that in our scientist thinking brains while we continue.
I was going to say, I think the ice turns into water.
I think it turns into water. Okay, good thoughts. What makes you think that?
And because I saw my mom bring home a bag of ice and set it outside the door and forgot about it. When she came back, it was melted. But it was a bag
Melted
of water.
what? What did it look like?
A bag of water.
It looked like a bag of water instead of a bag of ice. Was it a warm day that day?
Yes.
All right, so we're making some connections here with our prior knowledge.
There's a lot of really good ideas. Does anyone else want to share their prediction? Let's hear one from this table.
I think the ice melted into the coffee because I didn't finish, but because I saw the ice disappear.
Okay, good thought.
Okay, I'm going to end you guys. This is good job, because you have 1 minute left. I think my one piece of feedback would just be to make it less abstract. Does the class have ideas about how they can make it a little more concrete, their hook? And this idea about the phenomena, how could they bring that into the classroom?
They could bring in their hot coffee and drop in a couple of ice
You could
cubes.
do that? What would be another idea?
If they did that, they could bring it in like a clear cup so the kids could see it.
That'd be
We
cool.
could do a video stream. Honestly, we could video like us like putting the ice cubes like kind of that's I mean, not active, but just put some ice cubes in it and then continue with the hook and then say if we're looking back, oh my gosh, where did the ice cubes go? So like they can see and then we can rewind and show them that take them through something like that.
Or instead of actual hot coffee, we can use hot water so that they can actually literally see the ice cubes go away.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do even pictures. So I would challenge all of us to think about ways that we can make our hooks a little less abstract, and even you may want to add a picture to this. You could have a picture of it.
Well, how do we? Because I was thinking about that. How do we do a picture of melting ice?
Well, what people have done in the past is they've had a picture of like a cup of hot cocoa with steam, and so the kids know that means it's hot.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like ice cubes to the side, like just pictures of what it is that they're talking about.
Maybe we could do like ice cubes on the top and then like kind of halfway there and then just gone or something. Would that display it?
You know, all you really need is a picture of the ice cube and a picture of the hot cup of whatever, water or cocoa or something, and that's enough to focus them. Cool. Okay. What were some of the effective moves you all noticed? Yeah.
I really liked how she started off with like the classroom management of how we're all gonna get back together, and then how like we put our hands on our head saying "I am a scientist," like getting us in the mode of thinking.
Yeah, I think everybody could do that. That was great.
I really liked how Morgan redirected when you were kind of going off on your tangent about fighting and like all that stuff. She redirected the entire class back to the lesson and didn't let it drag out for like huge amounts of time.
Yeah.
She redirected.
Yeah. So she probed my thinking, but she didn't. It didn't last forever and a day, right?
Yeah.
She redirected. Good. Lauren, what were you thinking?
Oh, I just like your presence around the room. Like, I know Morgan was over here, and it made me feel like more on task when she was like kept walking by me.
Right. So even though someone else was, like Sarah was teaching, Morgan and Katie were circulating. So I would do that too because remember you're in a big classroom of lots of little bodies, and so you all should really not all be standing at the front. Like people should be standing at different places in the classroom, circulating, helping, redirecting. Good.
They're like excitement towards the lesson, maybe motivate.
Yeah. Good energy.